Hitchins. It's Johnny Boy Boxing at FightHype. I had a question for you about Kambosos. He recently called you a woman. Do you like him personally or on a professional level? I mean, what do you feel about that? What are your thoughts?
I didn't even see that. I see that the headline though when he said I'm a woman. I don't know, but
Is it business or?
I mean, just now we was in a room and they asked me if do we dislike me. He said it was business. With me, it's always business for me. I don't take none of this personal. I don't dislike any fighter. I don't know him as a man. He's all the way over there across the pond, so there's no way I could dislike somebody that's never, I never came across or walk along the same path with. So, I said what I said about Devin Haney's resume, and I kind of called him a bum, and from that, we started going back and forth, and it just so happened that he's the guy that I'm in the ring with after winning my world title. So I think that I get to shut whatever me and him got going on, we hashed that out in the ring, and just show that I'm on a different type of level. You know what I'm saying? So this right here performance, it's about a lot of things. It's bigger than just the homecoming. It's bigger than George Kambosos.
Do you want to punish him or do you want to go for the knockout?
I do believe I would get him. I do believe I'm gonna get him out of there. I do believe I'm gonna dominate him and impose my skill and my, just my dominance on him. But my narrative is not to sell myself as this knockout artist or this guy that knocks people out. I'm one of the best pair of boxers in the sport, and we don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in the levels with the Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevensons, and that type of class. The guys that's really is pure to the sports. I feel like I'm gonna dominate him and show him that his levels to boxing. However it comes to it, whether I choose to beat him up or whether I choose to give him a master class.
Do you think it'll be an easy fight or it'll be a tough fight?
I mean, at this level, you never know, especially when you're fighting me. A lot of guys say I don't have a big name, but I talk a lot, and people wake up for some reason when they fight me. Like I just told George Kambosos, when Lemos fought me, he came in damn near 2-3 pounds underweight. When he fought at another weight class, he came in damn near 8 pounds overweight. So it just showed like how these fighters are when they're in camp. George Kambosos, he's woken up for this fight. So he's been at the championship level. He fought guys that he was hungry to get the victory over. So I can't fall asleep. So yeah.
So Ms. Boxing, what's going on? So you beat him in June. What you trying to show the boxing world at 140? Like, what you might be on notice with you after him?
I don't think it's nothing about being on notice. I think I'm gonna keep saying it again. I already showed everybody what I'm capable of as far as like the grit, the heart, what it takes. I'm not beating. I didn't get to get my hands on everybody, but Lee and Padro, this is a fight that all the media had me written off. They said I was gonna lose. The odds was against me. Everybody was saying Padro beat the boogeyman. Beat Padro fairly easy. I showed he was nowhere near my level. I kept saying I'm on a whole different level. People just thought I was talking. I was telling Padro in his face, you a bum, you a bum, you a bum. When I say you a bum, it's not that he's literally a bum. He's just not on my level. So I feel like I'm going to just keep showing the boxing world that I'm better than the guys I'm saying I'm better. I'm better than Devin Haney. I'm better than Teofimo. There's a reason why I keep talking. So it's just about trying to just, like I try to tell you guys I'm coming. And it's like now you guys are finally here. I told you guys I was going to be sitting here in front of me. I told these guys I was going to be sitting here in front of me, and y'all going to be interested in me. I told these guys I'm on this type of level. And the media, the ones who knew, they were saying, okay, Hitchins is good, but he still got to prove himself. But all the fights they say, I got to prove myself. I'm dominating guys like Zepeda, but it's boring, 12-0. I'm beating guys like Lee and Padro. And it's still the question is, he can't beat Matias, but I beat the guy that beat Matias. Or he still got to prove more. So it's just keep doing what I'm doing.
So, Drew Titan, is there any pressure fighting at home? You feel any pressure at all?
I think that with George Kambosos, his game plan is he feel like it's pressure fighting at home, and it's pressure like to please my fans. I can give a fuck about anybody. My job is to go out there and get the victory, put on a master class. I'm not letting nobody trick me out of my spot. I'm not letting no big moment trick me out of my spot, or whatever that me and George Kambosos trick me out of my spot. However I gotta get the victory, I'm gonna get the victory.
Chen, a lot of Andres Gomez combat boxing. A lot of people are comparing this fight stylistically to Kambosas with Devin. Do you feel there's a good opportunity for you to show the world, to prove to the world that you're better than Devin Haney with a performance over Kambosas?
I mean, he fought a Devin Haney that was, Devin was much younger, much not as mature in his career. I don't think that Devin really fought to a fight of that magnitude. And I feel like, both him and George Kambosos probably was different fighters at the time. George Kambosos was probably the best of his career at that time, and Devin was probably, approaching the best of Devin Haney at that time. So I think that I can't say I'm better than Devin Haney just off that performance. That's just something internal that I feel. So I think that we don't know. George Kambosos came off a big win before the Devin Haney win. He beat Lomachenko. It was talks of him not really being as focused, not being hungry in the gym. It's just a lot. So I just feel like I'm just levels above a lot of these guys. So it's just to prove that I got more in my arsenal than Devin Haney. I'm a better fighter than Devin Haney. So it's just like, especially at this top level with this much on the line, legacy, obviously being able to take care of my family and, try to secure my future. I don't overlook nobody because any slip up it take it all away from me, and I have to start back and try to get a big fight. So I don't overlook nobody. George Kambosos is a man with nothing to lose. He's a man that's coming to, spoil the party. He's done it before. He took away guys' big paydays before. So I'm not overlooking George Kambosos, but Teofimo is a fight that I do want. I think that for me, looking as a boxing fan, I think me and Teofimo is a fight that will make boxing lit. Like, it's two young guys from New York champion. It's like, that's lit. Like, that's a fight. That's a fun fight. That's like what the sport needs. I think he's trying to go up to fight Boots Ennis, but it makes sense as far as name, but it's not. The realistic of it is like Boots is way bigger. He's on the way out of a weight class. Teofimo ain't really like been at 140 for too long. He's a smaller guy. Like, I think this is a fight where it's like the matchup would be even. You know what I'm saying? Both guys at 140, and it makes sense.
Two Brooklyn boys.
Right.
And speaking of that, you did say earlier in the interview that you don't really care what people think, but there's only basically 3 world-class, New York fighters: you, Shushu, and Edgar. I mean, that can't be all the way true. You gotta wanna impress the New York fans. You gotta care what they think. I've interviewed you a couple of times. The admiration to be in this sport is highly important for most boxers. You want to sort of correct that a little bit, or you really don't care?
I got impressed. I impressed my city already. I brought the championship back.
All right.
No fighter have done it in the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive in its own. So every time in this generation of fights coming up, every time a fighter stepped foot at Madison Square Garden, it wasn't representing the city as a world champion. That's no shade to no fighter. It's just that I'm the fighter that went out there and put in the work and earned it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't given to me. So I stand on that loud and proud. I feel like I represented the city. When I went out and fought for the title, and I saw I'm bringing it back. I brought it back. I brought the championship back. So I think that in its own is already impressing everybody. It's just time to celebrate now, and we party together June 14th. It's time for New York to come in the building and see whoever wasn't watching, whoever wasn't supporting. Now I guess they'll be there supporting now. So,
Hey, Richard. Speaking of Edgar Berlanga, he's going back and forth with Shakur Stevenson. He's saying he's the king of New York, but I thought you were the king of New York. So who's the king of New York?
I mean, I can't. I don't want to we all young. I want Edgar to say that it's lit. Let's compete. We men. That's what we're supposed to do. It's a beautiful time. We come from nothing. Me and Edgar was just both staying at what projects was that? Baruch projects in Lower East Side together. I used to be playing the game on the headset with him. Like, yo, I'm out there with a chopped cheese. He's like, yo, give me one, bro. I'm gonna meet you downstairs. So now we at a point in our career we're at the top level. So it's fun. He the king of the city. He believe that I'm the king of my city. So this is the time we go back and forth with that. So it's dope. Like, I don't take that personal. I know he don't take that personal. It's all about, we're going to keep saying we're the king of the city till the people say it. Like, who's really the king of the city. So,
And Richardson, Jay with Sportbox TV official. And on that topic, who do you think should be main event, since Berlanga and Shakur are going back and forth?
It's not about who should be main event. It is what it is. You can't stop what people want to do with their promotional bring magazine. I don't know, whatever they want to do. They want to make Edgar the main event. They want to make Shakur the main event. It really don't matter. I don't care about who's the main event. I'm gonna be there supporting both fighters.
Okay, and as far as back to Tio and last weekend, what did you see in his arsenal that you would be able to capitalize on?
But I see his arsenal. He's a good fighter. Tio's a special fighter. You know what I'm saying? When I look at Teofimo, you see he's a very good fighter. Make a lot of mistakes though. Showboats a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's a guy that it seems like his corner sends him out there with his talent more than with strategy and intuitiveness. It's more of it I think they said that he looked so great versus Barboza, but I really don't think Barboza was taking a lot of punishment that fight. It wasn't like a dominant performance. I just think he was doing more in every round. You could tell he was the better fighter every round. And I watched the fight over and over and over. So, yeah.
And as far as the rest of the landscape at 140, let's say hypothetically you can't get Teofimo. between Cuello and Gary Antoine Russell, who do you think will give you a tougher fight?
Both fighters are tough. Both fighters are different styles. Gary, obviously, me and him have history. He beat me before the amateurs. Cuello, I never fought him. But at this level, every fight is hard. So I'm not here to say who will be harder, who will not be harder. It don't matter what I say. It's just they're at the top level for a reason.
Richardson, when you had the conversation with your team,
That's how you go about it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
was there a strategic reason as to why you took the fight with Kambosos? Because a lot of people argue, look, it's a low reward, high risk fight. If it doesn't go your way, obviously, it's damaging to your career. But if you don't dominate, people are going to critique you and this and that because of the level of Kambosos, as what you said. Was there a strategic reason as to taking this fight?
I mean, he's the a guy. How can I criticize me? Find a former undisputed champion, a guy that beat Teofimo Lopez. We couldn't get Teofimo Lopez, so I got the guy that beat Teofimo Lopez. So people just don't know about boxing. People just, they try to downplay Kambosas. But I could call him a bum because I can step up there and fight. I can say that because I'm in the gym. I'm doing these sparring. I could call a fighter a bum. But people that don't know about boxing that just come to watch, he's the guy that beat the guy that they praise, which is Teofimo. So I think that as long as I get it done, it don't matter. Like this guy, he's at the top level for a reason. He made millions in the sport for a reason.
Richardson, Kayla Rivera. So you've accomplished a lot. You're the champ. Like you mentioned, you beat the guy that beat that guy. Tell me, do you feel that in the boxing world respects your skill level the way it should? And do you think that your fight with Kambosas is going to set you, on top?
Those who know me know what's in front of them. Like the beautiful lady right here. She been in the gym in Colorado. She watched me spar. She seen me in the ring with Terrence. She seen me in the ring with Terrence Crawford and Shakur. So it's certain people that watch and they know, like, you could have seen from years ago that he's going places. Like, he has a future. So people that don't know, they don't know what they're watching. And I've been trying to tell. That's why I keep trying to tell the world, like, I'm on that level. Like, I was screaming over and over. I'm on that level. Like, I'm at a high level of the sport. Like, why? My patience in the ring, my decision making, the things I do in the ring. You can tell I've been around and grown up around a lot of fights, and a lot of that stinks to Shakur Stevenson. Being in the ring with that kid since a young kid, having to think, make adjustments every sparring session, it rose my game to a whole different level. So I think a lot of boxing world don't talk about me like they talk about the Keishawns and the Boots Ennis and this. They kind of say he's good, but they don't highlight it. And I feel like I beat a lot of top level competition. I think out of the fighters that's not on there yet, like the young fighters like Teofimo and the Devin Haney's, the fighters I think like me, Keyshawn, and Boots is kind of right under that. I feel like I have the best resume, and I feel like that's just what it is.
Last question, Judge.
Interesting. AB Boxing News, like that you mentioned that, you in gyms and you're working, you was working with Bud Crawford, who's in Colorado, you just mentioned. Do you think your reputation in the gym and the good work that you put in the gym carries into the boxing world with you, fighters maybe avoiding you or, maybe not trying to fight just in general?
And let me clear what I just said. When I said I got the best resume, I'm not saying these guys haven't went out there before and put on better performances than me with what they did or what they did. I'm just saying I feel like I fought top competition for as much fights I have right now. But I'm sorry, ask that question again.
That you mentioned that you're in the gym, you're putting in work, you spar guys like Bud Crawford, Keyshawn Davis, different elite fighters of today. Do you feel that your reputation and the good work that you put in the gym for those who have saw you in the gym, you think that carries into the fight world with fighters that may not want to fight you or maybe avoid you?
Nah, I don't think fighters avoiding me because they don't believe it. They ain't gonna believe it till the fighters still look at me like he's like it's something soft about him. They talk like it's something like I don't know. Like whenever I get in front of these guys, like even when I was hearing Lee Imperial at the last fight, he was talking as if like do he really know what's in front of him or like? But he give me vibes. He's training, but the way he's talking is like the respect wasn't there. Like, and I was just like, you gotta know what's in front of you. I think George, he knows what's in front of him. After doing that face off and talking to him, like I'm reading him. He know the type of level I am. He know what type of fighter that he's in front of. But I don't think fighters are avoiding me because of that.
One more, before you go, you're a pretty big guy, especially for this weight. Can you just walk the audience generally how you lose weight? What's your meal plan? How do you get down? Because I've seen you before. You walk around probably about 180. Yeah, 160. Maybe like 160, right?
No, I mean,
you still got to get down.
Yeah,
Just walk through your diet and everything
yeah.
else like that. You know, just to give some inspiration for some fellas. There's a lot of overweight reporters who talk about the sport. So, you know, give them some inputs.
I don't think that it's not really hard for me to lose weight because I stay in the gym.
Okay.
I stay dedicated to my craft. And it's all about hard work, you know, just putting in the work. I train relentlessly in the gym, you know. I'm a guy that I train very, very, very hard, so the weight ain't really hard for me. The rounds of sparring, the miles I'm putting in the road, the rounds I'm hitting the bag for, how long I'm hitting the bag for, so it's not really hard. Only time it's really hard to lose weight is when I'm training somewhere cold. When the gym is like cold, it's hard for me to get weight off, but like if the weather's nice, like it's easy, my weight come up easy, so it ain't nothing like it ain't a science to what I do. I still eat good, I still snack, eat
What do you
chips.
eat? What do you eat when you're in camp?
I just have my chef cook. I eat whatever I want: lamb chops, steak, chicken, fish, quinoa, rice, brown rice, white rice, whatever. But he just cook it a certain way with a certain salt that it ain't putting that much weight. But I don't starve myself. Weight ain't hard. I don't feel like I'm in the need to 147. But obviously the time is near. I do want to feel. I want to say comfortable, but I want to feel like, you know, like weight ain't like a goal for me. Weight is still a goal to make for a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Africa, we haven't had nothing dominant out the city in a long time. You the one?
Of course I'm the one. I'm the one that brought the championship back. I feel like people say, I'm out of one. Bringing the championship back in boxing, that's something every fighter dream of. You know what I'm saying? Climbing through the ring. So I just feel like I am the one. It's like, damn, you win a championship, you still gotta prove yourself. Like, you win another championship, you still gotta prove yourself. And it's just like, it is what it is. I understand. Like Andre Ward said, you do it once, do it again, do it again, do it again. So it is what it is.
Last question right here.
Hey, Richardson, Jay with Sportbox TV. So just wanted to ask you about a statement that Rolly Romero recently said about boxers being overpaid and how he feels that it's messing up the sport because some boxers are just there to survive because they already know that they're going to have another paycheck after because another fight is set up. What's your take on that, and how do you feel about Rolly's statement?
I mean, I get it. I get what he's trying to say, but I can't say that. He's saying like fighters ain't fighting as hard, I think that's something that make my motherfucker fight hard if you know that check he win is gonna be life-changing money or hefty money for him and his family. So he's saying fighters ain't fighting hard or they're not giving their all. I feel like I get what he's saying because it can be like, oh, this guy's just going through the motions and getting ready and just trying to, you know, get a victory. I get it, but it's still, I can also see a fighter waking up. But I get what Rolly is saying. I think that fighters nowadays are like looking at they're at a certain level and the hunger is not there. And that's just what it is. It happens in the sport over and over, time after time. You get to a certain level and it's hard to keep up. What comes the temptations, what comes with being a champion, and what comes with the money and the fame. So I think those are the most obstacles that any champion in boxing have to like reach to. So boxing just have to be something you're passionate about and love, and competing has to be something you're passionate about. So that's what it boils down to. It's really just the fighters, you know?
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be back.
Wait till we come around and do it the second time.
How excited Andres Gomez, Coleman Boxing. How excited are you to be back here where you won all these titles, the lineal lightweight championship, now you're back, another chance for the championship. How excited are you, man?
I'm very excited, very motivated, and a big smile when I walked in here because the last time I walked out, I shocked the world and took all the belts back home and changed, you know, Australian boxing history and boxing history that night. So to come back again as a big underdog against a guy who, you know, is from here, brash, feeling himself right now, very familiar.
Kambosa, you guys doing face-off? You think some more from it?
No face off yet, but we had a few things to say back and forth on the table, and yeah, it was good. Look, we're going to say things, he's going to say things, but to be honest, yeah, to me, I respect him, and I think he respects me, but there's a lot of competitive nature too with both two guys that want to win, but I make a lot of sacrifices to catch that feeling again, and like I said to him, this is not really about the belt. I've got all the belts at home. It's not about making money. This is about proving my legacy and doing it again and catching that feeling again in a place that I've already created so much history.
George, Drew Titan, do you consider this your second home since you won big here last time? And do you have any agendas coming back here to try and make another statement?
I do consider this my second home. You know, I've had 2 great wins here. I beat Mickey Bay here in 2019, Tiffany Lopez 2022, and here we go again, Hitchins, obviously June 14th. So no jitters. Like I said, you know, there's no real pressure on me. I feel exactly the same I was for Lopez. There was really no pressure on me, and I get to be free and come in and do exactly what I love to do, and I love to fight.
Can I make a suggestion? Do you bring the Road Warrior, Mel Gibson?
Okay.
Want some go up? Come on.
Yeah.
That's you're a road
I'm a road warrior, and I fight best when I'm a road warrior. I fight best when I'm away from my comfort zone. I've only ever lost, of course, to Devin Haney and Lomachenko in the comfort of fighting in Australia, fighting during the day at 1 o'clock because of the time difference with the American broadcast. Never lost anywhere outside of Australia. So had great victories in America. I think 7-0 or 6-0 in the US, fought all over the world, and you know, they're character building moments. I've been here many times, and you know, this will be legacy again on June 14th. And June 14th, like I said to him, and kind of surprising, June 14th is a good day because it's my birthday as well. So
right.
Saquon Jones with the Boxing Voice. I actually was in Australia at Marvel's Stadium and covering the fight for the Boxing Voice when you fought against Haney the first time. There seems to be there's a transformation or maturity to you now after those 2 defeats and the one to Lomachenko. Can you just walk us through, you know, how the brashness is almost gone and more like, you know, a desire to get back on top is now seems to be, you know, your new way of life, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm very motivated. For me, I don't need to sit here and we saw with the Haney fight. You know, when you're champion, you've pulled off a big, you know, victory, and everybody's up your ass pretty much. Of course, you know, you're gonna your head start to grow, and that's how it was. He saw me calling him a rat and saying things that I should have not said, but that's you know, in the midst of the war, you know, things happen. But at this point in my career, you know, I'm driven by legacy, driven by catching that feeling, driven by, you know, doing this for the love of the sport. It's not really anything else. You know, shocking the world again. You know, it's a mature Kambosas, a seasoned Kambosas, a guy who has so much experience. And like I said to him, he's had 1 championship fight. I've had this going on my 6th championship fight, 12 rounds up to 12 rounds. So I feel good at this weight. Obviously, my goal, my motivation is to become a 2-division champion. And June 14th, God willing, I will be victorious again.
Kambosas, AB Boxing News. You know, how do you feel at this weight at 140 pounds, and what did you take from the Lomachenko fight coming to this fight?
Yeah, I took from the Lomachenko fight that was 1 fight too long at 135, and I could see that looking back at it, Lomachenko, who's not the biggest guy in the world, was bigger than me. He looked thicker than me, and you could see that I had sucked myself down too much. And again, with that rehydration clause of 140, 145 for the IBF, that 10 pounds. You know, it's hard work. It's not easy where you make a weight the morning, obviously the day before the fight, and then that night we had to do another 10 pounds. Then we had to go fight at 12 o'clock or 11:30. So you got to be up at like 7 a.m. getting ready to go fight a guy like Lomachenko. So yeah, look, I took a lot from them that fight, that lesson. Again, Lomachenko, this is an all-time great Hall of Famer, and I know my buddy Hitchins was trying to disrespect him and say that he's better than Lomachenko and Lomachenko ain't shit. And to me, Lomachenko is a Hall of Famer, all-time great, and I've got a lot of respect for him. So I learned a lot from that. I feel fantastic at 140. My last fight against a very tough and dangerous guy who had just come in. Obviously, he was fit and ready. He was about to fight in 2 weeks. 15 knockouts out of 16 victories. Big puncher, strong, nothing to lose, no pressure, and gave me a good fight. But you could see how dynamic I was. I was very sharp, very explosive, until obviously the cut, you know, clean shot finally had me thinking, you know, oops, this could affect the big fight. So yeah, we got through, touched the you know, the water at 140, and here we are now again.
So your explosiveness, you feel like you carried it from what
When Kambosas came to America and everyone was talking about him, obviously sparring Manny Pacquiao, and who's this guy? And people started to watch and they said 3-4 punch combinations in and out and moving, and that kind of diminished. And you start to pinpoint where did that go? Obviously had a hell of a fight with Lopez, but the older you get, the harder it is with weight. Slowly, you know, that was diminishing and I was less output. So now at 140, we showed him the last fight, more output, more chances, not worried about taking a shot and coming back, and that was the old Kambosas. So it's safe to say he's back. He's here.
Jay with Sportbox TV official. Actually, keeping on the topic of Pacquiao, what are your thoughts on his return, actually?
Yeah, it's surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and, you know, try his best. That's what Manny, one thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So, yeah, he's going to give it his all. Again, you can't beat Father Time, but Father Time is hard, and it was very hard watching him fight Lucas, and you could see it. And then watching the exhibition he had with the Korean guy or the Japanese guy in last year, it was hard to watch. I know Manny, I know the man that I was sparring. I love that guy. So, but again, he's a legend, and if he turns it on, he can still do it.
Absolutely, and also, so the plans, if everything goes well against Hitchins, would be Tio. Now, seeing Tio's last fight, is that the same Tio that you fought, or are there differences in the fight game, and how do you think that you would do against him coming up after this?
Look, my mindset, of course, there are bigger plays here, but my mindset is on Hitchins. I can't sit there and speak about anyone else who I'm going to fight next. I'd be crazy to do that. Let him do that. Let him say he's going to fight this guy and that guy after Kambosas. I'm focused on Hitchins, June 14th. After that, who knows? Who knows what's to happen? I might go back on my big boat and start a ferocious fishing vlog and catch big fish like you would have seen me doing. I might go do a UFC fight, who knows?
When Tio was saying about him almost dying after the fight, does that sort of taint your victory? Do you?
No, look, that's just bullshit. You know, that's just him. You know, he was screaming his head off when he walked into the arena and kill you, Kambosas, and he looked in tremendous shape. But you know, like I touched with Hitchins just before, people will hear him say about certain things, and we've never seen any proof. We've never seen nothing. Now, if that happened to me, he's the proof. But if there was some proof, mysteriously, who's to say that right hand and never took his head off, didn't rip his whatever? That's all bullshit. That's all lies. But you know, I touched on it before. Do people forget I live in Australia? Did I not have to travel from Australia to America, back forth 3 times? And in the midst of doing that, we had the hardest quarantine rules in the world. 2 weeks living in a hotel. He was there, my father. I was there. 2 weeks no training, just sitting there waiting while he's back to training, feeling good. And then having my wife pregnant, getting told that we've got to get on that plane because of obviously the Triller issues. Gonna miss the birth of my kid. All of a sudden things are going wrong with that. We stayed for the birth of my kid. Beautiful, I have a son. At the exact moment my grandfather passes away. They're gonna bury my grandfather. Enjoy my son. Prepare to go fight the undisputed champ of the world. Come back to America and beat this guy in his hometown as a 13-1 underdog. People don't hear that. You know, I don't sit there and parade about it like he does. He parades about his supposed this and that. Be a man, you lost.
He's just a sore loser.
I beat you.
Hey George, they misspelled your name on the post out here. They misspelled your name on the post out.
That's cool, man. Like for me, like they can disrespect me. I've been disrespected before. But I know where I've been, you know, the fans know where I've been, and I'm a true warrior, like I was saying before to Hitchins. He's so caught up on undefeated, 18, 19 and 0. Fuck the 0. I'd rather lose my 0 to a guy like Haney or Lomachenko, fighting the best of the best, because I know what kind of competitor I am. I'm a true champion. That's what the fans want. That's what the media wants. The 0 doesn't matter, but if we get the best fights happening right now, who's going to be the winners? Fans, media, boxing, the sport, fighters, because they're going to be wanting to take a chance and fight the best. So that's how I am.
George, question. You share the ring with champions like Lopez, Haney, Lomachenko. How does Richardson Hitchins compare in terms of skill and danger?
It's hard to tell right now because I have not fought him. But from what I've seen, we study him, very much. We see the way he fights. To me, he fights like a guy that, and he said it in our face-off just then, our one-on-one. He fights like a guy that just has to do what he has to do to win the fight. If it means being super boring, so be it. Now, I look at Lopez, Haney, I've seen the second fight, come to fight, and Lomachenko. And again, a guy like myself, I come to fight, I come to give the fans, win, lose or draw, bloodied up, stitches all over my face. I come to give the fans the best fight. And like I said to him, this is your homecoming. Come and make a point, come and fight me. If you're going to run, yes, we've got some tricks up our sleeves too. We've seen that style before. We know our mistakes, we know how we feel. Now at 140, so yeah, look, we'll see after June 14th. I can make that analysis of where he stands out of them. The only guy that's really fought everybody, and that's George Kambosos.
Training camp, will it be Australia or here?
No, I'm in Montreal. I've already been training out there, part 2 of training camp. But the best thing that's been about this fight, Kambosos usually has a fight and then goes 9 months, 10 months, and then comes back against another big name. But I fought only 6 weeks ago, 12-round fight, had a 3-month great training camp, and now straight back into it. I'm in shape, I feel good, I'll fight right now, 12 rounds, whatever, no problem. So training camp is in Montreal, got my whole team with me, got some fantastic sparring partners, and we're doing everything we can, sacrificing away from my kids, my family, my comfort, and even though I get noticed anywhere in the world and get noticed in Montreal, at least it's not as crazy as being in Australia.
Hey George, Johnny Boy Boxing at FightHype. We got a question. You said earlier that this is your second home. You feel comfortable in New York. Richardson Hitchins says that he's the king of New York. If you beat him, are you the new king of New York and king of Australia?
Yo, I'm from New York. You can't give that out.
We've heard that before. That I've heard that in 2021 that we had a king of boxing, king of New York.
And you call yourself the emperor.
The emperor's coming back. The emperor is here, so what's a king to an emperor?
Emperor of New York.
When I beat him, the emperor returns.
Champ, do you still feel that same hunger? Because the last time you were here, you were fighting for all those titles. You've won them. You've made a lot of good money in your career. You still feel that same hunger as the last time you were here in New York?
Yes, that hunger is undeniable. I wouldn't be here. I turned 32 June 14th. I wouldn't be here wasting my time. I've got a good life. I have every belt. I go downstairs in my house, and I got all the belts, and my kids get to see it. No one in Australia has that. I've made a lot of good money, God bless, but for me, it's more than all that. For me, it's that legacy, coming back and beating this guy and doing it again. And I say, you know what, Kambosas stamped him in the Hall of Fame. He fought the best. He beat these guys. He did it on his terms, and that's what he's catching that feeling. Fighters, especially guys that have been there and done it, and now obviously getting a bit older, they're trying to catch that feeling again, and that's what I'm catching. I feel good. I feel really good. I feel great at this weight. Sharp, very explosive, hitting very hard, and God willing, June 14th is going to be a great victory again for my career.
Kambosas, I like that you mentioned about if Hitchison gets on a bicycle, you guys have a plan for that. Now we just saw William Skull versus Canelo. Speaking of another champion, what advice would you give to Canelo if he fought a guy like Skull to make the fight easier?
Well, look, that's Canelo Alvarez. Who am I to sit there and give him advice? Yes, look, he's been undisputed and twice, and look, I feel that I was undisputed. Obviously, politics. Some 50% say yes, 50% say no. But yeah, maybe I was watching Canelo and Danny Jacobs, a couple of days ago, just studying that fight after his recent fight. That movement and what he did in that fight and the way he cut the ring off and just beautiful head movement. That's the Canelo Alvarez. It was a bit of a weird one. It was a weird week, but again, it's Canelo Alvarez, and who am I to give him any input?
George.
George, what mental edge do you believe you bring into this fight that Hitchins has never seen before?
I've got that championship caliber. I've been there time and time again. I'm a hungry, warrior. That will, that heart to win this fight. For me, I feel that Hitchins, good fighter, great fighter, whatever you want to call it, hasn't been proven yet. He won his championship against another Australian guy, and he hasn't fought the big names. And he can say that he's done this inspiring, and he feels like he's that, and you know, he feels like he's going to be the king and the best in boxing. But you got to show it in the ring, and we'll see how much heart he has. We saw it in the Lemnos fight. We see certain glimpses of him, and then we see what style he brings. So, a different kind of fighter, different kind of person. But I'll tell you what, there is two competitive guys, you know, coming to give it their all. New York is in for a treat. The boxing world is in for a treat. So, no disrespect there. This is going to be a hell of a fight. God willing, he comes to fight, and if he doesn't, like I said, we've got our tricks and aces up our sleeves. We learn from our lessons.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
I can talk to you guys all day. But I got a fight to come back.